Long time ago, around 1939, the whole Abeokuta and Ijebu province were faced with terror from a notorious celebrated brigand known by the name ALAGBANKO of Igbore, Abeokuta. ALAGBANKO, a celebrated brigand, had constituted himself a terror beyond redemption in both the Abeokuta and Ijebu province. He would brazenly walk into a village in broad daylight, request for a chair and seat himself comfortably on it in the center of the village. He would then order people to go into their own houses and bring out their choice clothes and all the money they had, all of which should be deposited in front of him as he sat down. Idagiri, in the epic Yoruba movie Ogbori Elemosho, produced by Chief Lere Pahimo, popularly known as Eda Onileola, is a replica of ALAGBANKO's behaviors. ALAGBANKO's orders were always carried out for fears of the violence that would follow non-compliance. The owners of such surrendered properties would then walk back into hiding with their tails between their legs, while ALAGBANKO's FT carriers scattered the goods and money away. For every attempt made to arrest him, ALAGBANKO disappeared into thin air. He was reputed to have a charm that made him disappear whenever an attempt was made to apprehend him, and that created an aura of invisibility around him. Oba Salami Adewumi Ajibola, an Olowu of Owu Abeokuta from 1949 to 1972, was enlisted into the Nigerian police force on 10th August 1914. His tall, smart frame and handsome features proved no doubt to be an asset when it comes to assess his eligibility. He distinguished himself as a crack detective and rose to the rank of a chief inspector. Inspector Ajibola's assignment therefore was to demystify the claims of the criminal by arresting him. As usual, Inspector Adewumi Ajibola approached this case with the seriousness it deserved. For about 3 months, he dressed each day like a poor farmer and walked past the abode of ALAGBANKO. He pretended to be an innocent farm worker, more preoccupied with the rigors of his labor than to show interest in the people he passed by on his way to and from the farm. In the end, the team which Inspector Ajibola led for the final assault on ALAGBANKO took position around the criminal's house one day at dawn. In his characteristic fashion, Ajibola stormed into the house and grabbed ALAGBANKO before he could swallow his usual charms. The charm, which ALAGBANKO had always at arm's reach, lay idle when most needed and so could not help on the final day when Ajibola and his team called. Alagbanko's followers quickly disappeared while they left their ring leader to be handcuffed and arrested. Alagbanko, in his desperation, looked up at Ajibola after he had been arrested and said, "It was not you who arrested me. You could not have arrested me. God did." After the arrest, Ajibola and his team proceeded to Alagbanko's makeshift kitchen and made a short walk of the bush meat which they found hanging by the fireside. Soon after, Alagbanko and various accomplices faced court charges, and the Abeokuta High Court sentenced Alagbanko to 28 years imprisonment with hard labor. As a police officer, Inspector Adewunmi Ajibola was known as one who shunned bribery like a plague and who applied the principles of honesty and dedication in the service of the force. As a rule, no person inside his family or outside it was ever permitted by him to receive any form of gratification on his behalf. No members of his household ever dared to receive from anyone any form of gift brought to his house, either in his presence or in his absence. One of his sons is the late Prince Abdul-Jabbar George Bola Ajibola, KBE, CFR, served as Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Federal Republic of Nigeria from 1985 to 1991, and throughout his service to the nation never received any salaries. He directed his personal assistants in the Ministry of Justice to give 35% of his salary back to the government, 25% to Nigerian Bar Association, and the rest 40% to 8 charitable humanitarian organizations all over Nigeria, and that they should be paid 5% each every month. Inspector Salami Adewunmi Ajibola had set a record. He was the first woman to attain the post of a police inspector in the force, and the first police officers retired to become a king in the history of the Nigerian police force. Inspector Adewunmi Ajibola served in Lagos until he left the force in 1947, and he became the Olowu of Owu Kingdom 2 years after his retirement from the force. As an Oba, he was constantly using his native intelligence and police experience to settle disputes or to assist people. Ajibola lived to a ripe old age a little after he had reigned for over 20 years. In October of 1972, he began to show signs of weakening. On 15th November 1972, Oba Salami Adewunmi Ajibola breathed his last at exactly 3 a.m. He loved peace and progress. and he always worked for them. Thus far, he had reigned longest on the Owu Kingdom throne in Abeokuta with a record of 23 years. Oba Salami Adewumi Ajibola of blessed memory is proudly Nigerian police officer, and it's good to celebrate him as a legend. Ọmọṣẹ́là, ọmọ Atólóyè Májẹ̀, ọmọ Ìké Ọba, ọmọ Olúbẹ̀fẹ̀ ní Ìbáró, ọmọ Tọ́láwò, ọmọ Yọ́lóyè Yóò.
Mo kí gbogbo ọmọ olówó dúró. Ẹ̀yin ọmọ Ajíbọ́sí ọmọ ẹ̀bẹ̀dì owó dúró ọmọ sọ̀rọ̀ gbìmọ̀. Mo ti já pèrè fún mo dáná abalẹ̀ oró kango. Ìgbà tí mo sọ Nàìjíríà mo yá gbọ́dẹ̀ òdìgbò balẹ̀ ìjìgà òjò gbogbo àsùnkọ́. Mo ti já pèrè fún mo dárò àsùnlẹ̀lẹ̀. Ìgbà tí mo dọ̀nà ẹ̀jù tán mo yá gbọ́dẹ̀ bàbá tèmi ga. Òde ọ̀gẹ́ alámọ̀yọ̀ ń lé mi jẹ́. Mo kí gbogbo ọmọ olówó dúró. Ẹ̀yin ọmọ Ajíbọ́sí ọmọ ẹ̀bẹ̀dì owó dúró ọmọ sọ̀rọ̀ gbìmọ̀. Ewé ọdún balẹ̀ òró kango. Ògbìgbó balẹ̀ òró gbàngàn. Abímọ lówu alákọ̀ àbábọ̀. Èwo ni ó dàgbà tí ó ṣe sí ilé òwú ọmọ alábẹ́rin dúró ọmọ sọ̀rọ̀ gbìmọ̀. Lówu ló ń lọ ọmọ alábẹ́rin.
Òkè àti pẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀, ibẹ̀ la gbé bí mi sí o, ibẹ̀ la gbé tọ́ mi dàgbà o, ilẹ̀ òmìnira. Èmi ò fàbẹ́ òkúta ṣògo, òun dúró lórí Olúmọ, máa yọ̀ lórúkọ Ẹ̀gbá o, èmi ọmọ lè ṣàmì. Glory.